So old and wise, and you're so young.
I think I'm an old soul. I think I've been around the world a couple times. I don't know.
So. Extreme success is the result of working hard, dreaming big, learning from failure, loyalty, persistence, and resilience. Hello and welcome to another episode of Xtreme One to Watch, where we get to share amazing stories of great athletes in the sport of barrel racing. Today we're so excited to have Maddi Stoltman from the great state of Washington here with us. And thank you so much for coming. I'll tell you, I always say they're always one to watch when you've got a Washington girl at the gate. So tell us a little bit about how you started in the sport of barrel racing, and let's walk through that.
So I started to barrel race on my jumping pony, and then we had play days, gymkhanas, that kind of thing, in town. I don't know how we found out about them, but I remember going to those as a starter and then learning what the 4D barrel races were, starting in that, and then kind of started into high school rodeo and just worked my way up. And thankfully I had very supportive parents who were like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now, because again, they had no clue, I had no clue. We were just kind of learning as we went. So
is it different in Canada than it is in the US?
It's probably just smaller scale, but we have all the same things for the most part. I mean, the fraternity scene is really growing in Canada in the last probably 5 to 10 years. Again, not on the same scale, but we also don't have the same population. So, you know, from the standpoint of similarity, yeah, kind of the same idea for the most part. And when it comes to things like the pro rodeos and stuff, Canada has a lot of really great ones and some that are very famous. So
definitely. Who was your mentor and who helped hold your hand through all of this? Since you didn't come from a horse family, a lot of background goes with that, but who helped you get your best start at this?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people help me over the way, or along the way, and still help me now. So the lady I bought my first real barrel horse from, her name was Connie Herman, and she was really helpful. She told me, if you're buying this horse, you're going to have to high school rodeo, and here's how you do that. And so she was really helpful with that. She had, her sons were all high school rodeoed and went through it, so she kind of was able to show me the ropes. And then I became good friends with a girl named Chelsea, and her mom, Annette Moore, was also really helpful to me. I called her my rodeo mom. And she helped me a lot. I really admired Chelsea and how successful she was in all the rodeo events, and so I kind of gravitated towards her, and her mom was really helpful to me as well. And then since then I've had a lot of really great mentors. I was able to intern with Ryan Padone a few years ago. She was amazing, and my friend Lindsay Schultz helps me a lot at home. My best friend Kyla Simmons, who's a Canadian barrel racer, has been super helpful. There's been a lot of people along the way, and I think that's one of the best parts of the sport, is the people that are willing to help you to kind of do better, even if they're a fellow competitor.
Well, you're in a good circle. You have a really good constituency up there in the Northwest. And what makes the Northwest girls so tough?
You know, it was so funny because I remember thinking, like, as a Canadian, you always think of like the toughest regions being Texas. You got to look out for the Northwest. Like the Columbia River Circuit and the pro rodeos, there's a lot of freaking tough girls in there. And honestly, I don't know what makes it different. I think it's like there's just a lot of hungry people there that are willing to really work hard. And I mean, a lot of the places we run when it comes to, say, rodeos, for example, are tough kind of arenas, like really big standards with barrels off the walls and stuff. So I don't know if it's the conditions and, you know, that you have to be good to be able to be successful in those situations or what, but it's definitely a tough region.
What's some of let's talk about your big wins. You know, where have they happened, and walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so my goal that I really want to accomplish is I want to win the world. So, you know, every barrel racer's dream is to go to the NFR, and I'm learning it's not that easy, which I think I knew, but, you know, once you actually start putting things in place to get there, it's like, oh, it's going to take a lot. So I won, last year was my first year actually pro rodeoing. I won a handful of checks last year, which was really cool. And then the horse I'm running here, he's also pink buckle eligible, and he's won me a couple big checks in a saddle at the pink buckle barrel races. So that's been really cool. And
what's his breeding?
He's BF Born for Glory is his name, and he's by Born to be Famous out of Elaine's Leinster mare. So he's beautiful, and he's very athletic, and he's just been a gift, really.
Well, great. So how old is he now?
He's 9.
9?
Yeah.
So he's still got lots of good years. He can get that going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you going to expand and go out past your circuit now in rodeo?
I'd like to, but it's going to be one of those things we'll just kind of have to see how the springtime plays out. I really would like to go to Cheyenne and some of the bigger ones, but you know, as everybody knows with the cost of diesel and everything like that, trying to get down the road is a little bit expensive. So we are quite lucky where we are, especially living in Ellensburg. We're very central for our circuit too. So even last year going to a lot of the major rodeos up there, you really don't have to go too far. So I plan to hopefully be in a position to continue going a little further out of the circuit as the summer goes on, but we're just going to play it by
Do you have
ear, I think.
another career or another career choice?
I do a lot of things, yeah.
Let's talk about those.
Yeah, so I own a clothing company called Level Up Apparel. So it's all online based, mainly graphic t-shirts. Everything's kind of got a Western vibe to it. The concept of Level Up is when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. So that was kind of where the whole idea for that came from. So I kind of like to have cool t-shirts, but Western flair and that little reminder behind it. And then my husband and I own a livestock panel business as well. So we do that in Arizona in the winters. So this was a close race for me to come to, and then in Washington in the summer.
Oh, wow. So you're very busy. You have a lot of balls in the air and to keep it all going. And so you have a husband.
Yes, yep.
And he's your partner in all of this.
Yes, yeah. I think sometimes he is wondering why he's doing it because I've got a lot of crazy ideas, but he's amazing.
So you're the visionary.
Well,
and he's the integrator. He's got to integrate.
We both have different strengths for sure. So I kind of have my head in the clouds a little bit more. I'm a big dreamer, and he's a little bit more of a realist. So when I come up with a lot of crazy ideas, he's very good at kind of breaking it down. Okay, how are we going to make this happen? So I'm grateful for that. And he's an entrepreneur himself as well, and he's been really successful in multiple businesses. So he's helped me a lot in that way to kind of grow my business sense and figure out how to run my own things. So yeah.
So you do mostly online with it, and how have you found that? For people that are interested in starting their little startup, what are some of the hints that you can give them?
Well, I think something I learned is that you can research a lot, but you don't really learn until you do it. So I'm still learning, and I have big visions for my business, but of course I'm doing a lot of things, so it's hard to do all of it. But yeah, I think you just kind of have to, if you have an idea, you kind of need to start with it and learn along the way, because it's really the only way it's ever going to happen.
And see it through, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you do absolutely learn as you go, and that's a really, really good point. What obstacles have you had to overcome in your life that have made you grow as a person?
I've had to go through a lot of loss. I've lost some really important people in my life. The man I was with before my husband died in a car accident when I was 26 years old, so that was a major obstacle. And then losses I lost a friend and my grandpa all within a year span of that guy dying as well. So it was a lot all at once. And then I've lost a lot of horses too. And, and really unfortunate things that make zero sense. Like, you can take such good care of your animals, and it's just like God has a plan that sometimes we don't get to understand. So, there's been a lot of loss in my life, and it's like, it's just difficult sometimes, but I think it's really made me learn, like, you just kind of have to keep going. And that was honestly what sparked my idea for Level Up, because it was like, you're going to get things thrown at you, but what you do with those things is how you become the person you're meant to be.
Yeah.
So
that's so true. That's so much tragedy for such a young, vibrant person like you are. And I think you do gain character from everything, because if you can't overcome, you can't endure and go to the next thing.
Yeah.
These little anchors hold us down till how we move forward. What would you recommend to anyone is there something you read, or is there some lane that you took that helped you with loss? So anyone that's out there listening that has had great loss like you, what would you recommend that they do?
I think honestly, like, just take it day by day, and spend the time with the people that you care about and that care about you, and don't worry about what anyone else says. Because I've learned, whenever you go through something hard or something good too, everyone has an opinion on how you're supposed to be handling it, especially when it comes to something like grief, like, oh, you're taking too long to get over something, or you're moving on too fast, or whatever. And at the end of the day, like, the people that love you and care about you, they just want you to be happy, because you can't do anything about those situations when they happen in your life. So just realizing you need to do what works for you, and kind of cut out the noise around you, because it's just no one's business how you handle things.
Right. Very, very solid advice. You seem so old and wise, and you're so young. And
I think I'm an old soul. I think I've been around the world a couple times. I don't know.
So. I mean, such great recommendations. And so, with this new journey that you're on with all of your businesses and that, where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
Well, I hope I've won the world in 5 years. That's been my goal since I knew what barrel racing was. I wanted to win the world. And, you know, it's obviously not an easy road for anybody, but that's like my main thing. And honestly, that's my personal goal, but I also really hope I make the world better because I was here. You know, I really want to make a positive impact and, you know, make people feel good about themselves and inspire them to chase their dreams too, because I think, you know, sometimes we get so rooted in a goal and it's like that can be part of what you're doing, but it's not necessarily who you are. So, you know, I'd like to continue to inspire people and hopefully, you know, make some positive impact in the world.
Oh, you're doing that already. So who do you read? And it sounds like you're well read and versed in self-development and self-improvement. Who do you like?
Well, I'm kind of a self-help junkie, so I read a lot of books. I read one recently called Dangerous Prayers, and I cannot remember the last name of the author, but if anyone's a God believer, it's a really incredible book, encouraging you to pray for what God is planning for you and pray for that to come to your life versus what you want. And it really shifted my perspective on a lot of things. So that one was really good. I'm going to blank now, but one of my favorite books too, it's called The Big Leap. It's another really good one. I have a whole list of books that I can go on, but I love self-help, and I kind of like to read from different authors because I feel like everyone has a perspective on things.
I think so. And then I think you can even hear the same thing, but one person says it and it clicks a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, we connect with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit easier in that. So do you listen to podcasts?
Yes.
Yeah. I think they're fun and they're helpful, and just hearing other people's stories help us understand, because there are no new emotions, right? We all get to experience loss, but some of us are a lot more tragic, like you have done. And it's just being able to overcome and step up. So I love that you have all of these companies. Let's let people know again, you have Level Up.
Yep, Level
and
Up
how
Apparel.
Can they find you on that?
LevelUpApparelCompany.com, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook with that as well. And then Northwest Arena is our panel business, but we really only deal with Washington and Arizona areas. So those are kind of our main things we've got going on.
Well, very good. Well, in closing, have you got a good story to tell us, either inspiring or funny or sad or whatever? Let's have a cool story.
I did almost get bucked off my horse the other day, and thankfully I didn't, in the warm-up pen of all places. So Claude is my VF Born for Glory. He's kind of my main man, and he's pretty big. He's probably 16'2" or 3", and he fits me well because I'm 6 feet tall. But the other day, like, he gets really antsy and dancy, and I was in the warm-up pen, and I went to go swing up onto him, and he started to trot away as I was like mid-leg swing, and I ended up landing on his butt. And he's like very watchy and weird, and I still had the reins in my hand, and I'm like this, and he's vibrating like that. I'm like, oh God, please don't bug me off. Please don't bug me off. And I was able to slide off before we had a full come apart. But that was one of my most recent
oh crap moments.
Yes, I have a lot of those.
I know, it's like, it's amazing how we survive it all, right? I mean, boy, what a nice horse he is. I'm so excited for you, and I wish you nothing but the best. I can't wait till I say, I sat down with her and she won the world, and she had a big plan for it too. So make sure that you watch all of the episodes here. These are on every other Thursday on Xtreme One to watch and on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and happy trails.